much for joining me. I have with me Professor Ali Alao, and you are not a stranger to what is happening right now. What is happening right now as we speak, in the United Kingdom and across, on the other side of the Atlantic in the United States with the revelation from Meghan and his husband and their little baby. What is your view on the ongoing issue? In 2 minutes, just give me your view, and then we'll now talk from an African perspective. Because a lot of people have gone quiet. A lot of people have gone quiet because they don't want to say something that they're not supposed to say, or to sound like an hypocrite on this matter. And that's the reason why I said, okay, Prof, let me hear your views on what is happening right now. Go ahead, Prof.
Thank you for having me on this show. It's very unfortunate with what is happening to this young couple, um, Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan, and their newborn child. That even before the little girl knew what her name is being faced with this kind of discrimination, racial trauma that is quite settled in this new millennium, that this is supposed to be something of the past. And then we can see how the thing has been brewing for some time, despite the fact that this couple decided to make an ultimate sacrifice by leaving United Kingdom that they love dearly for United States of America and then start a new life. But despite the tabloid, the media, the mainstream media has been quite unfair in the way these young couple live what's supposed to be their private life. They have not been very kind towards them, basically. Why? Because one is this is a multiracial couple. One even there is a saying, they say in passing of the brand envelope. This is the term they used to use back in the days. But unfortunately, in the 21st century, we're still having these passing brand envelope test, which is quite absurd and despicable. I don't know if you really saw one news anchor, one by the name John Pierce or so. He has to walk out of the station in protest that he cannot stand these unfounded allegations. I would say, wait a minute. How can this be a fabrications? How can this be lies? What is there for Prince Harry and his missus to gain, and Meghan to gain, from fabricating something of this magnitude? I believe it's about time for us to realize racism is still there, but in a new dimension. It has never gone away, only that in a very settled way or manners being propagated in the United Kingdom in 21st century. I could remember myself, I've been through this kind of situation in the past, although if I should digress, I never really believe, okay, well, racism and so on, in as much it doesn't happen to you. I got pulled over, I was helping a friend of mine. This happened in East London. This bigger policeman turned around and said to me, go and shave your beard. What has that got to? You stop me, and the next thing for you to say is to what has beard got to? This is a blatant racism bigot in the United Kingdom in 21st century. So, as a matter of fact, I believe, despite the fact that I must say the large majority, or will I say the populace, doesn't really tolerate racism, but that doesn't mean one way or the other racism is gone. It's still there. It's just a matter of who you ask or where you find yourself, then you might be a victim of racism. And this goes to show if the first family, royal family of United Kingdom, Prince Harry, that went and served the country in different capacity, can be humiliated in a way with the choice of woman he loves to marry, which is also happened to be from here. If you take Meghan to anywhere, even in this very Europe, it will pass the brown paper bag test as a white woman. But despite, it's not white enough in cotton coat. So, like individual going around and saying in protest, I find that to be quite hypocritical on the side of the Mr. TV anchor, PA, which I don't really need. Everybody saw what happened. It's on the headline. On what basis he? So if they experience it, they should just stay mad and stay quiet. They shouldn't voice out, or they should be shot at. It's quite unfortunate. As I said, if someone like Prince Harry and his wife, Miss Meghan, can go through this, that goes to show the harsh reality of our time. It's quite unfortunate, and I find it to be despicable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because you more or less set the more or less explain what we should be looking out for on this matter, and I'm quite grateful for you for that. Now, the question that is going through a lot of our minds right now is that a lot of people might feel, oh, we don't go through it in Africa. Well, you know as well as I do that if you marry from another village, your people could even disown you. That if they don't even pack the ladies' luggage out violently, they could deny her of the inheritance of her husband. If anything happens to her husband, they'll say she's not from their place. So this also plays out in Africa, where they said in my native language, Olowo Shore Olowo, Utoshi Soro Utoshi. The rich will be friends with the rich, the poor will be the friends with the poor. So that is also happening. But that said, because Africa being what it is a place where community issues is very important, and community engaging with your elders and getting elders involved is important. There's something that was said that Meghan said that actually struck me, and I want you to say something about it. She said that she approached the HR, and the HR asked her to, that there's nothing they could do to help her. And I looked at it from two perspectives. The first perspective was, okay, if she goes out to the media, to some of the charitable organizations out there that provide mental health challenge, if that news leaks that she's trying to get help because she's feeling suicidal, that will have been damaging to the royal family. So the only way she could have gone about it is speaking to them inwards. And they also are saying, you know what, if we go out there, you have to just suck it up, just like if a military man comes across another military man, he says, stand up, suck it up, march, march, march. So it's like you're in the war front, you need to suck it up. And I understand where they're coming from, and I understand where Mega is coming from, in the sense that she felt she's within a big family, she should be able to get support. And I don't know why it's so difficult for them to have gone directly to the Queen if there was no restriction for them speaking to the Queen. But because of protocol, it might not be possible for them to speak to the Queen. But in an Africa setting, you have a situation where you can go to another elderly person who is even outside the cycle to say, this is my problem, I'm in trouble. And they will speak to the elders in those particular areas and more or less find a way for the elders to sit down and resolve it. Is it because of the westernized way of family upbringing? And I don't want to sound racist myself by saying that the West has lost their family values. But is it the fact that you can't call on an elderly person to get involved that is really the problem here? Because if Mega was in somewhere like Africa, she could have called on anybody that is 60 or 70 and above and say, I'm going through a serious problem. She could have called on a big elderly person who she knows will keep their mouth shut and say, this is happening. So, for example, I'm just giving this as an example. If the wife of the Oni of Ife, for example, is having problem with the household of the royal palace because they have traditions and she's not abiding by some of the traditions, she could easily have called on maybe somebody, who is elderly, maybe Tunumbu, maybe, somebody like that to say, I'm in serious problem. And they could more or less find a way to massage the issue and find a way to resolve it. So there will be no HR issue here or professional HR, but they will have looked into the issue. What is your view on that? And I want our viewers also, if you're watching us, please this page, share this page, and let us know your thoughts so that we could actually have that discussion. Please go ahead.
Basically, thank you for this very question. If I understand you quite well, if we have to make the comparison between in African context, it's a completely different ball game entirely. What we have in Africa is even worse than racism. This is because to be tribalist is more dangerous than being racist because okay, let's firstly talk about United Kingdom. We have a different orientation. We mustn't forget. This is the underlying, cause of this. Different approach, different ways of doing things. The culture is different. In as much you reach that age of poverty, you are independent. You can choose to. You have a choice. You can make a choice. You can. Everything goes through some certain protocols. I.e., when you have issues, who to speak to. Maybe firstly, if you're a teenager, you speak to your parent. If you don't really to your parent, maybe to your guardians. If not your guardians, maybe your teacher in the school, and your teachers can refer you to the to a specialist, a psychologist, or whoever to help you out of the situation you are in. But here we are. We mustn't forget it's just not issue with just a normal family setting. This is a royal family, and royal family, as far as we know, have their own protocol, which one have to adhere to. To come to in as much is an institution on itself that you need to learn, you need to imbibe in yourself how to go with this protocol. I haven't said this, I don't want to make it look like as if, oh, this is just peculiar with the royal family of United Kingdom. Every royal household around the world have their own protocol. It depends where you find yourself. And again, being an outsider coming into this very culture, again, I won't want to use this as an excuse. The reason why being this lady, the wife, Meghan, she's more or less British, just like anyone else. Even English, I won't say nothing.
No, let me point it. Let me one of our viewers whose name is not displaying, said, "What is the connection between the royal stuff in Great Britain and Africa?" And I want you to answer that question because one of the issues that have been raised by Meghan is the fact that she believed the reason why, they're talking about the reason why they didn't even allow their son to go through the protocol of the announcement. And let me finish this statement before you come. On the basis that they did, the reason why they didn't even go for the protocol photo protocol was because they've already told them that it was not going to be known as a prince, he was not going to get security, so they were trying to protect him, and because of the skin of his color. Now, somebody says, what's the link between Great Britain and Africa? Now, what they do not understand is the damage from a Commonwealth perspective, because a lot of Commonwealth are black countries who have a lot of respect for the Queen and for the monarch and for the institution. And if they feel there's a bit of racism in there, that because Meghan, being a black lady, is actually being despised, it could have serious impact on Britain's relationship in the Commonwealth. And that is the reason why having this kind of discussions and trying to soften that blow, trying to address those issues are quite important. But I want you to have a word with that. Meghan is American. She's not British. She's American. She's not English. She's American. So,
Yeah.
but the bottom line is that she's black American. But the bottom line is here, Britain is the head of the Commonwealth. And with us leaving Brexit, Britain is trying to rearrange their marriage with the Commonwealth. And if this person is asking the question that, what is the royal stuff between Great Britain and Africa? Are there examples? Are there lessons that could be learned from Africa for Great Britain, for the royal family in the way they handle their family affairs? That's their family affair. That is the question I want to ask.
Basically, thank you for that question. I believe royal family of United Kingdom are at a very, very critical position when it comes to Commonwealth. This is the mother of Commonwealth, and Commonwealth comprises of every colors, every race you can think of under the Commonwealth, from Asia to Africa, and even to Oceanic, which is New Zealand, Canada, and Australia. They are part of Commonwealth, if I should say. More so, you said, Megan, point of correction, our father is from United Kingdom. So one way or the other, she can claim to be English if she want to, and say as well she can claim to be American. She went to live in America. Our father is from here. Well, that of mother, I don't know much, which I believe she's from she's from West Indies, which is still part of Commonwealth somehow. So there is no way she can be pushed out of this Commonwealth big family. So it's not an house. She's not an outsider. She's an insider. So, but again, she's been discriminated based on the color of the skin, and which I found to be appalling in Britain, in United Kingdom of 21st century, and post-Brexit Britain. I believe this doesn't look well on the record of the main seat of Great Britain, London, and the main seat of Commonwealth, so to speak. So in a way, again, in comparison to African royal family, we can't just say African royal family. The reason why being because in the same very Africa is quite diverse. Are we talking about in Southern Africa like Zulu, or are we talking about West Africa like in Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, or where are we talking about specifically? So in a way, it differs, even to not to kind of, to really broaden the argument. Think about it for a moment. A country like Nigeria is not the same protocol within the eastern part of Nigeria, which is southeast, among the Igbos, Ibibio, and the rest of them, or when you come to southwest, which is Yoruba Atlan, like Ile-Ife, Oyo, Abeokuta, Ijebuland, and the rest of it. Okay, there might be some commonality, but the protocol differs from place to place. It depends where you go. So, in a way, there is far difference between these two royal system or royal family settings in United Kingdom, in UK, and that of Africa, so to speak. I hope that
Okay.
answered
Let
your.
me ask you, yeah. Let me ask you what other question I was put forward, because I remember when I was in the civil service, we have this Black History Month, and one of the things that I learned is that actually black blood have always been within the royal family already. So
That's
why
right.
is it that it seems as if the modern and I have to be very careful here. Uh, it looks as if there are people within the system who are trying to make themselves uh, look in a particular way, which is what Mega was trying to
But,
portray, that they
but,
want to
but
be seen in a particular way. Go ahead.
I would like to say this. I mean, I see no reason why the lady cannot come out. She's under siege. She cannot, I mean, she need to fight back. She need to come. I mean, it's like them against the swimming against the current. This shouldn't be happening in isolation. She need to, if this can happen to someone like Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, that's got to tell us that there's a serious problem. There's a serious issue here that need to be dealt with. There's nothing to be covered. They need to expose this. This is menace of our time. It's something we thought it might have gone by now, but it's still there. So in a way, I see no reason why this is of public interest. This cannot be swept under the carpet. One need to know. I mean, people coming around and saying, oh, she's making up, just trying to blackmail, she's telling, sorry, anyone in their right mind, where would they just like to vacate and relinquish their royal duties? If not, something is right there. They say there's no smoke without fire. Something must be wrong. Something definitely must be wrong. So, as a matter of fact, I believe they need help. They need support from every hooks and corners. I mean, they are the one that are being oppressed here. They the one that are being humiliated here. They deserve every support that can be given to them.
Okay, we're going to be going offline very soon, but there are so many questions here that have been brought in. And one of our viewers has said that as far as this is concerned, Mega is not even black. And again, who are we
It
to say
depends who you
black?
ask. You know, I said that
Okay,
earlier.
yes, if her father is white and she
Mhm,
say she decide that she wants to be black from her mother's side,
mhm.
because of her mother, who are we to say that she doesn't have that blood and she can't claim to be black? Those are there's a lot of issues here. But there's another question I want to ask, and I would like you to help me out here.
Yes,
And
please.
that, that's the issue to do with when Harry said that he had to dig into, because he was told suddenly, he was told suddenly, he was told suddenly about the fact that they've revealed the location where himself and his family are based. And we know there are dangerous people out there that might want to hurt
Arm
uh,
them. That's
security.
right.
So I know, yeah. So, and he said their location was revealed suddenly, and his security was withdrawn. So he had to dip into his own money in 2020, which was last year, to protect his family, to be able to find a place to live. So he was even squatting in a house of a famous, artist in America before being able to get his own place. And it was because of the fact that he had to protect his family that he actually went out to do all this Netflix and all these things. So we are seeing the reason behind his action. You understand? So
That's right.
and that will anybody can relate with that if you want to protect his family. As somebody has gone through that, noticed that, witnessed how his mom was actually pushed out of the royal household and actually eventually lost her life in the process. So I sympathize with him and I understand exactly what is happening. But the Queen has said, or the royal family has released a message saying that they will deal with this issue privately. Are you confident that this issue will be resolved privately?
Yes, I believe this issue can be resolved. It's a family affairs, basically. But it's quite unfortunate that this thing comes out. And again, we should know that they are public figure, so we shouldn't be surprised. It's just the way the mainstream media has handled it. I found out that it's quite embarrassing for them because I believe the lady Meghan, she granted interview to Oprah Winfrey. So as a result, I mean, the story really hit the headline, which I believe is quite embarrassing. It was a bitter pill for them to swallow. So having said this, though, I believe something will be done. Again, the way they've been mistreated, mainly I feel so pity for Prince Harry because I believe uh, he's a gentleman. This is a guy that went and served in the army. We saw him in Afghanistan and did about. And I mean, again, what else did they expect from me? I mean, uh, it's quite unfortunate that it wasn't even, I mean, given that, I won't call it privilege, it's dues in terms of the way he has to squat somewhere, they need to hide from this tabloid, this new, I mean, again, for the security to be withdrawn from them, again, making him and his family vulnerable. It's quite unfortunate how far one can go just to emulate or just to score points. It's quite unfortunate. And for them to fight back and come and speak out, and someone say to them that, oh, they are lying or somebody is manipulating, is that very, very insulting to say a guy like Harry, Prince Harry, had no brain, that his wife is manipulating him. What does that mean? Are they trying to wedge what between the husband and wife? That's a stress, for heaven's sake. I mean, what is their problem? 21st century is quite unfortunate, and I find it to be quite hypocritical on the side of the one saying, "Well, in protest, this is all I can't take it no more." Come on, it should calm down. It should just take a chill pill. Who is he fooling? Fooling the viewers? I'm sorry. The kit has been lifted. We can see what is underneath the kit. So, as a matter of fact, we don't subscribe to this kind of um, blackmailing on to, trying to water down what is really happening. A couple is going through an issue, going through some ordeals, which everybody's supposed to rally around them and give them support they need, then adding more to the humiliation. So, as a matter of fact, again, one saying, I guess one of the your viewer was commenting, 25 years been around Senegal, Cameroon, and the rest of them. Real families are not this. Meghan is not black. Well, it depends who you ask. As I said before, even before this question was posted on your page, that again it depends who you ask. Some African might not even see this lady as not being as being black, but as we know it, she can choose who she want to be. To her, she's a black woman, and she's a proud
Let
black
me let
woman.
me let me let me ask you these two quick questions as
Yes.
as a round off. Yeah, as the British monarch learned anything from the death of Diana, from this incident, from the way you've seen things go?
That's a serious question. That's a fantastic question. I guess it's like I might call it the time we use in IT. This like Princess Diana 5.0. Why that
Mm.
target 5.0? It's like play that, oh, now that she has been freed, a free woman, she can align with whoever she chose, whether Asian, African, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean man, black, brown, yellow man. She is free to. It's the same way they wish on her until she what? She met a death. It's quite unfortunate. I guess the media should learn from from the mistake of the not only the royal family, because so are the people peddling this. I mean, flaming the hands of. Flaming the fire on these young couples is quite unfortunate. I guess, as you said, I hope lesson learned. Maybe they are quite forgetful, and with this very thin brain, they should quickly make sure they look for a way to mitigate it and calm things down. Let it be family affairs. Call them all together. Settle the dispute, and before the thing exacerbate or go beyond what they can handle. Because the last thing is nobody would like, I believe, in their own interest, they won't like what happened in the 90s during the death of Princess Diana. They won't want it to play out again because Harry is the youngest son. Two of his sons of the same very woman that suffer humiliation and abuse from the press and the so-called were pro-monarch and royal family, which no one against. It's not an issue being a royalist, but royalist doesn't rubber stamp racism and abuse in a very settled and mild way. This is what I believe cannot be tolerated or propagated in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, let me ask you my final question, and this is something that will make you laugh. Um, I talked about the scenario between the the house slave and the field slave. The house slave will always feel that he's already of the system, so he doesn't see anything wrong with what the system does, and he will say, you know what, why are you people complaining? Just live with this situation. But the the field slave is a rebel. He feels that everything needs to be brought down. Do you think that this is playing out in the African or the diaspora community? The black community, is this playing out? What is the situation here? You know,
Thank
Let
you.
me know what you think.
Although the question sounds funny, but it's not funny. You are referring to the civil rights leader, the activist of the 60s, Malcolm X, Alhaji El Shabazz, Malik El Shabazz, which was murdered, due to his belief and pro Afro American in the 60s. And yes, basically, as you said, that code it's quite unfortunate that we are disconnected. We don't, this is not typical Africa, but unfortunately, a lot of people are frustrated. I must say, most of the Africans in diasporas are frustrated. They are less concerned. You see, that who cares? What is their concern? What does that have to do with them? Does that bring food on their table? But unfortunately, this is a human being. Where is humanity? We Africans are known for by nature. We are known for, we don't need to know who Meghan is or who Harry is. Are they not human beings? They're human beings. We should have the empathy. That's who we are as an African. Not like, oh, it doesn't, what concern us in this? Does that bring food to our table? We shouldn't be like that. We should have empathy towards anyone in grief or anyone in distress, anyone being oppressed, whether black, white, yellow, or brown people. We should be on the side of the oppressed and the victim, not the side of the oppressors. That's my take.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me use this opportunity to thank our viewers for more or less joining us today for this short program. We're just looking at the current affair and what is happening out there. If you like what you've listened to, send us a message. Let us know so that we could come to you again with more information. We are always live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 8 p.m. UK time, looking at security issues, across Africa and in across Africa. Until we meet again, a special thank you to Professor Ali Alao for joining us today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And my name is Temi Tope Olodo. I'm a preventive terrorism consultant, author, and president of African Security Forum. And our website and email is down there. Please like this page, share this page with your friends, and send us messages if you've got a topic that you want us to discuss. As I can see for one of our viewers who is talking about women bleaching and the issue of identity, which we might look at. Send us a message, we will look into it. Thank you so much for your time. It's your man again, Temitope Olodo. And until we meet again, stay safe, wear your masks, wash your hands,